Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the CopeWell podcast, where we share practical science-based strategies so you can thrive emotionally and mentally. I'm Dr. DeLuccia, your host. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I definitely wanted to do an episode to talk about healing some mental health, whether you're struggling with anxiety or overwhelm or negative thoughts. Today, I'm going to give you some strategies that are rooted in mindfulness and behavior therapy so that you can start feeling better today. All right, let's get into some strategies. These are really going to be easy go-to techniques to help you heal your mental health or manage big emotions in the moment. So no matter where you're starting, hopefully everyone can take what I'm saying and begin to apply it. Strategy number 1 is a grounding pause. So when anxiety or stress or negative thoughts start to spiral and your brain begins to feel hijacked, this is a mindfulness technique that can help you reset. So when you, with mindful awareness, notice the quality of your thoughts or the big emotions you're feeling, just stop and take a pause. Begin to take some slow, deep breaths. Try the inhale for a count of 4 and an exhale for a count of 6. So anytime you lengthen the exhale with your deep breaths, it's going to trigger the relaxation response and begin to calm your mind and body. So you've taken a pause, you've intentionally tried to calm your breathing, and then you're going to use the grounding strategy of noticing. So begin to name the things around you. And I would just keep it simple. Name 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing you feel. Like maybe you feel your feet on the ground. This is a modification of the 5-4-3-2-1 strategy. So it's quicker, it's more simple, and it's something you can do in 30 seconds, combining your skills. So you're really using that skill stacking strategy that I've shared previously. Grounding pause. When you notice, stop. Breathe into your big emotions, try to relax your body, and then name 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing you feel. And I share this because it's quick, it's effective, and it works anywhere. So even if it's during a meltdown and you're guiding your child through, maybe they're starting to cry, getting them to notice what they see if they're able, right? Sometimes we're not willing and we just need to cry to regulate our emotions. It can be a distraction. So that's why it works for grown-ups too. So if you're stuck in traffic and you're starting to get upset or your mind is racing, try this. Just start naming what you see. Tune in with your senses. Listen. What do you notice? And then maybe you just feel yourself on your seat or you feel the support from the ground. I love this strategy because it helps grown-ups regulate so they can support their kids, right? So it helps parents stay calm. Then you're able to help your child de-escalate the situation, calm down. And I would encourage you to practice a strategy. Grounding pause is what I'm calling it. Set a reminder on your phone to practice it 3 times a day. It could be at random times if you want, or intentional times. I would encourage it be at very stressful times of your day, heightened times, maybe during your morning commute, or when the kids get home from school and there's a lot of chaos, something like that. Even before bedtime, it would be great to try and get everyone settled. Strategy number 2 opposite action. So opposite action is going to help you shift your emotions. This is a behavior therapy strategy from DBT. When you are stuck in a heavy emotion, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's something like shame or regret. Your instinct can be to withdraw or to lash out and blame, right? It's very hard to take responsibility for our emotions. It's super easy to blame or avoid. Opposite action is your go-to strategy there because it flips the script and it can shift how you feel. So the first step of opposite action is to identify the emotion and just name what you're feeling, right? Name it to tame it. Just, I'm angry. And then check in with your action urges. What do you want to do because of this emotion? So you really have to have awareness around your patterns of behavior. So for me in the past, my pattern was to shut down. I did it all the time. It was an ineffective way of coping, but when I was feeling hard emotions, which I was bombarded with pretty consistently for many years, I couldn't handle it. I didn't know how to handle it because no one was teaching me these strategies. So it was way simpler for me to just shut down and avoid and ignore what I was feeling, which was really damaging because then those emotions were stored in my body, and that was very unhealthy. So notice your tendency of what you typically do when you're feeling a certain emotion. And it may be different depending on what the emotion is. That's totally normal. But once you notice the urge of what you want to do, like if you typically shut down like me, or if your typical reaction is to yell, step 3 is to do the opposite of that. So you are intentionally changing your behavior with mindful awareness of what you would typically do. So with opposite, you're going to act in a way against that urge. So it aligns with the goal of what you're trying to achieve. So if you're working on improving your behavior, say I just want to cope more effectively, I don't want to continue down the pattern of shutting down or the behavior of shutting down. The opposite would be to speak and share how I'm feeling or share what I'm struggling with, and not walk away. That would be the opposite. Another example is if you're sad and you have the urge to stay in bed. That's another way to avoid. The opposite, super easy. The opposite of that would be to get up, take a little walk. Maybe you take a shower and get dressed, or maybe you call a friend, right? And just talk through whatever it is that you're feeling. Opposite action can be really helpful in healing our mental health, because a lot of times we struggle with explosive behaviors because of our mental thoughts. A lot of people get overwhelmed when they're frustrated. They want to act out physically, right? Punching a wall is not going to be very effective. Opposite action would be a great skill to pull in here. The opposite of that would be to get your physical outlet out in a more effective way. Maybe you listen to something calming like spa music, or maybe you journal your emotions instead of punching and yelling. And you create this new habit around this awareness of changing your behavior through doing the opposite. It's going to help you learn how to cope effectively because you're recognize your emotions, right? You're not avoiding them, and then you're shifting them with something more effective than just lashing out, punching, yelling. So if anxiety is going to make you avoid a task, right? We see a lot of anxiety. Maybe you, instead of procrastinating, you do one small thing. So opposite action doesn't have to be big, but it's about taking that action, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just a thought. I worked with a client once where I recommended, instead of when she really couldn't get out of bed, try sitting up in bed. Can you get anything completed sitting up in bed, right? Can you journal from there? Can you make a phone call from there? So baby steps are still fine. Even if it's avoiding writing a hard email, start the email, draft one sentence of it. So you don't have to force positivity with this. It's just about moving through the emotion more effectively. Strategy number 3, self-compassion. This is huge, you guys. Mental health struggles often come with judgment and self-criticism. Like we think there's something wrong with us. We think we're bad. We think, why can't I just snap out of this? I pulled an example of this, of different emotions and skills from Disney movies. And I always think of the scene in Moana where she's singing and she says, "What's wrong with me?" Right? There's nothing wrong with you. That's just a perception. So with self-compassion, it is a mindfulness practice. And it really all starts with self-compassion. You have to learn to love yourself first to assist your growth and the path of change. So to incorporate this strategy, you're going to acknowledge your struggle. You're going to validate yourself. This is hard right now. I'm hurting. This sucks. This time in my life is not good. Validate it, right? You have a reason to feel the way you're feeling. The next step is to connect to your humanity and remind yourself that everyone's going to struggle. And then offer kindness. Maybe you want to place a hand on your heart and say the loving kindness meditation. May I be kind to myself. Or just a simple affirmation like, I'm doing my best. I feel like I'm always reminding teachers of this. Give yourself grace. It's okay to slow down, breathe, take a break, because they often feel guilty or overwhelmed. And one teacher used this language of self-compassion with a break during one of the students' meltdowns and really found it helpful. It reduced her stress. It helped her respond more calmly. So if you're willing to try this, I would recommend making it a practice daily, especially if you find yourself in judgment or beating yourself up, because this self-compassion is really like giving your mind a warm hug. Channeling my inner Olaf there. So let's tie this all together. The 3 strategies for mental health healing this May. Use the grounding pause to calm your mind, opposite action to shift tough emotions, and the mindful self-compassion break to be kind to yourself. It's truly an act of self-care. And these tools are simple, but they're powerful. And I've seen them transform kids with severe behaviors, help grown-ups under stress, and really all of us navigate issues of overwhelm or just difficult situations. Another example that I experienced just today was actually another strategy from behavior therapy, and it's shifting into acceptance with willing hands. And it's a simple strategy of just opening your palms, opening up your hands, palms facing up. It leverages the brain-body connection, and you're really tricking your brain to move closer towards acceptance if you're finding yourself resistant. I was in a classroom of students with challenging behaviors, and they were all pretty much having a difficult time with emotion regulation at the time. And one student started crying because he didn't want to work with another student for the mindful scavenger hunt I had created. So I met his resistance with acceptance while suggesting he communicate what he wants in a calmer way. He paused. He turned towards the teacher with his palms up and out using willing hands and calmly asked for a different partner. I shouldn't be surprised at this point, but my jaw dropped because these kids are quote unquote the most difficult ones and they are getting it. So they're using the strategies that I teach, and acceptance at that age is huge. Y'all, this was a class of kindergarten, first and second graders. So of course we praised him for having the appropriate behavior response. And yes, he stuck it out with his undesired partner because that was his choice. And I guess the acceptance helped him. So it's really amazing to see these strategies in action having a positive effect and helping people, especially kids. So thinking of that situation as well, practice is the key. So I'm sure the adults in that classroom rewarded the positive behaviors and practiced mindful breaths and the willing hands and the other strategies that I've shared. So start small. Pick maybe one of the 3 strategies and see if you can just stick to trying that one for a week. Notice how it feels. You don't have to do it alone. My work through the CopeWell is all about guiding people like you to find calm and confidence and build a happier life. If you're ready to take the next step in your mental health journey, I'm here to support. Please, I might as well use my Ph.D. I offer personalized coaching in emotion regulation to help you or your family to thrive. So for Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm opening up a limited number of free 30-minute clarity calls where we can talk about your challenges and explore strategies like the ones I shared today and map out a plan to help you feel better. To book a free call, just email me at dr.ashleydeluccia@gmail.com. I'd love to support you. Mental Health Awareness Month is a reminder that healing is possible and you're stronger than you know. So try these mindfulness and behavior therapy strategies and let's just keep the conversation going. I want to truly know how you guys are doing. Feel free to visit my Instagram. I'm at DeLuccia. My last name is DeLuccia. You can visit my YouTube or join my free Facebook group, which is called Mental Health Support and Behavior Coaching. And on all of those, I try to post daily tips. And at least with the Facebook group, you have a community that you can share your story with and feel like you're not alone and get the support of other people. Connect with me soon and cope well.